Best hairstyles for thinning hair that add instant volume. What if the hairstyle you've trusted for years is actually the reason your hair looks thinner than it really is? Most women blame age, hormones, or stress for losing fullness. But here's the hidden truth. The wrong cut can take away more volume than nature ever did. The good news? With the right hairstyle, even fine, delicate strands can appear instantly thicker, more vibrant, and surprisingly youthful. Think of it this way. Your haircut is like the frame of a painting. Choose the wrong frame and even a masterpiece can look dull. But choose the right one and suddenly everything comes alive. For women over 55, that choice can mean the difference between hair that feels flat and lifeless, or hair that lifts your face, brightens your features, and gives you back that quiet confidence. In this guide, I'll reveal the best hairstyles for thinning hair that create instant volume without hours of styling or expensive products. Some of these styles may feel familiar, but I'll show you the subtle tweaks that turn them from flat to fabulous. Others might challenge what you've always believed about age-appropriate hair. The question is, which of these could be your secret to fuller-looking hair and a younger-looking you? Take Linda, for example. At 67, she had always worn her hair long and straight, believing that length was her last connection to femininity. But over the years, that length began to work against her. Her fine strands clung flat to her face, making her features look tired. When she finally tried a modern layered bob, everything changed. Suddenly, her jawline looked sharper, her hair looked twice as thick, and her friends couldn't stop asking if she had lost weight or done something new. Her secret wasn't magic, and it wasn't expensive treatments. It was simply choosing a haircut designed to bring volume back to thinning hair. For women with thinning hair, layers are often the first step toward rediscovering natural fullness. They are the quiet secret of stylists everywhere, subtle enough to look effortless, yet powerful enough to completely transform the way fine hair behaves. Take Linda, for example. At 67, she had always worn her hair in one length, straight and simple. She thought keeping it long and heavy would help her look more feminine, but over time, the weight of that one-length cut pulled her fine strands down, leaving them flat and lifeless. She often found herself avoiding mirrors, frustrated by how her hair revealed every bit of thinness. When she finally agreed to try soft layers around her face and crown, the change was immediate. Suddenly, her hair seemed to lift on its own, framing her cheekbones and creating the illusion of twice the volume. Her friends couldn't put their finger on what was different, but they all agreed. She looked more vibrant, lighter, and years younger. Myth busting. One of the most common beliefs is that thinning hair should never be layered because people fear it will make ends look sparse. But the truth is, the right layers don't take hair away. They give it life. Overlayering or razor cuts can indeed leave hair wispy, but soft, blended layers are like architectural beams. They hold the style up, add movement, and prevent hair from collapsing against the scalp. Practical tips. Ask your stylist for gentle, face-framing layers rather than harsh, choppy ones. Focus on layering around the crown to create lift where it matters most. Avoid thinning shears, which can fray delicate ends. Blow dry with a round brush at the roots to maximize the natural lift layers provide. Mini engagement. Are you still holding on to a one-length style out of habit? Imagine how much fresher and fuller your hair could look with just a few well-placed layers. And here's the best part. While layers breathe new life into fine strands, the next cut brings even more structure. It's a timeless style that frames the face, adds polish, and can make thinning hair look denser at the very first glance, the classic bob. If layers bring lightness, the bob brings structure, and structure is what thinning hair often lacks. A well-cut bob doesn't just frame the face, it adds instant density, making every strand count. Carol at 62 had always avoided shorter cuts. She believed her shoulder-length hair made her look softer and more feminine. But with time, her fine strands began to betray her. They fell flat, clung to her jawline, and highlighted the thinness around her temples. "Short hair will make me look older," she told her stylist, resisting the idea for years. Finally, with some gentle encouragement, she agreed to try a modern chin-length bob with slightly textured ends. The transformation was remarkable. The blunt shape gave her hair weight at the bottom, while the subtle inward curve at the jawline lifted her face. Suddenly, Carol's hair looked fuller, healthier, and infinitely more stylish. Her friends kept saying she looked refreshed, as though she'd had a weekend getaway or a spa treatment. In reality, it was just a haircut, but one that unlocked her confidence. Myth busting. One of the most persistent myths is that short hair equals old-fashioned. But the truth is, the modern bob is the epitome of timeless chic. Far from aging you, it can take years off your face by creating clean lines and highlighting bone structure. A bob doesn't have to be severe either. With soft ends, a side part, or a touch of wave, it becomes versatile, playful yet sophisticated, polished yet effortless. Practical tips. Find the sweet spot. The most flattering length is usually between the chin and collarbone. Too short can feel severe. Too long, and it loses shape. Texture matters. For fine hair, avoid ultra-blunt cuts with no movement. Ask for light texturing at the ends to keep the style soft. Parting power. A side part can instantly make a bob look fuller and add lift at the crown. Styling trick. Blow dry with a round brush, tucking the ends slightly inward for a facelifting effect. Add a soft wave for extra volume. Mini engagement. Are you holding on to length because you're afraid short hair will make you look older? What if the opposite were true, that the right bob could actually make you look younger, fresher, and more vibrant? And here's where it gets even more exciting. While the bob is polished and classic, the next style is bold, liberating, and often underestimated. It's the cut most women over 60 shy away from, but when they dare to try it, they often hear the words every woman loves. You look 10 years younger. If the bob is about structure, the pixie is about liberation. For women with thinning hair, it can feel like the boldest choice of all, but also the most transformative. A well-cut pixie doesn't just minimize thinness, it brings out bone structure, lifts the face, and makes styling almost effortless. Susan, at 64, spent decades hiding behind shoulder-length hair. She told herself that keeping her hair long would make her look softer and more feminine. In reality, the extra length weighed her fine strands down, exposing thinning at her crown and making her hair look tired. Pixies are only for young women, she would say every time her stylist suggested it. But one summer, after growing frustrated with flat, limp hair, Susan finally agreed to try a modern pixie, longer on top, feathered at the crown, and styled with side-swept bangs. The transformation was immediate. Her cheekbones looked sharper, her eyes brighter, and her entire face seemed lifted. Most surprising of all, her hair looked fuller than it had in years. Styling time dropped from 20 minutes to just 5, yet she received more compliments than ever. "You look like yourself again," a friend told her, "only fresher." Susan realized the pixie hadn't taken away her femininity, it had revealed it, myth-busting. Many women fear the pixie because they think it's too masculine, too severe, or too unforgiving. The truth is, today's pixie cuts are softer, more versatile, and far more flattering than people expect. The key is customization, keeping length at the crown for softness, feathering the edges for movement, and sweeping bangs to one side to frame the face. Rather than emphasizing thinness, a pixie shifts the focus to your best features: eyes, cheekbones, and smile. Practical tips. Ask for extra length at the top and crown to prevent a flat look. Opt for texturizing techniques like point cutting or feathering, not blunt lines. Side-swept bangs add femininity and balance. Use lightweight mousse or a texturizing spray for easy lift and volume. Schedule trims every 6 to 8 weeks to keep the shape crisp. Mini engagement. Have you ever admired someone else's pixie cut and thought, "I wish I could pull that off"? The truth is, you probably can. It just needs to be tailored to your face shape, lifestyle, and comfort level. And here's the surprise. While the pixie is bold and freeing, not every woman wants to go that short. The next style offers the best of both worlds. You can keep some length, enjoy movement, and still create the volume that makes thinning hair look thicker. Not every woman is ready to go short, and the truth is, you don't have to. Shoulder-length styles offer the best of both worlds. They keep enough length for softness and femininity, while lifting away the weight that drags fine hair down. For women with thinning hair, this balance can be transformative. Maria, at 61, had worn her hair long since her 20s. She believed that length was tied to elegance, and she clung to it as part of her identity. But over the years, her fine strands became more fragile, and the extra length only made them look thinner. Her hair lost its bounce, and she felt older every time she caught her reflection. Her stylist suggested a cut just above the shoulders with light layers around the crown. Nervous at first, Maria finally agreed. The difference was immediate. Without the weight pulling her hair down, it looked thicker, bouncier, and healthier. The shoulder-length cut framed her face beautifully, drawing attention to her eyes and smile instead of her thinning ends. "I feel like myself again," Maria said. "Only fresher." And her friends noticed too. They complimented her on looking lighter, brighter, even more confident. Myth busting. Many women fear that cutting hair shorter will strip away femininity, but the truth is, hair that's too long can actually highlight thinness. By contrast, a shoulder-length style frees the hair from heaviness, allowing it to spring back with natural movement. It's not about losing length, it's about gaining life. Practical tips. Aim for a length that skims just above or right at the shoulders. Ask for soft, face-framing layers to avoid a heavy, blocky shape. A side part can add instant lift and create asymmetry that flatters thinning hair. Style with a round brush when blow-drying to add bounce at the ends. Add soft waves for even more fullness without losing sophistication. Mini engagement. Are you holding on to long hair because of habit, not because it truly flatters you? What if trimming just a few inches could be the simplest way to bring your hair and your confidence back to life? And here's the intriguing part. Length alone isn't the only factor that can transform thinning hair. Sometimes it's as simple as where you place your part or adding a light fringe. In the next section, we'll reveal how side parts and bangs can work small miracles, redirecting attention and creating volume where you need it most. Sometimes the smallest shift makes the biggest impact, and nowhere is this more true than in how you part your hair or add a soft fringe. Unlike a drastic cut or bold color, a side part or bangs are subtle changes, but they can completely transform how thinning hair looks. Janet, at 66, had worn her hair parted down the middle for decades. She loved the symmetry and thought it looked timeless. But as her hair began to thin, that middle part betrayed her. It exposed the scalp and highlighted every sparse section at the crown. She felt like the more she tried to style it, the worse it looked. Her stylist suggested a deep side part combined with airy, wispy bangs. At first, Janet was skeptical. She had always thought bangs were too much maintenance. But when she looked in the mirror after the change, she couldn't believe it. The side part instantly created the illusion of more volume at the top, while the bangs softly framed her face, drawing attention to her eyes and smile instead of her scalp. Suddenly, her thinning crown was no longer the focal point. Her bright features were myth-busting. Many women believe that a middle part is always the most flattering and timeless. While that may work for thick, youthful hair, thinning hair tells a different story. A middle part can emphasize sparseness, while a side part softens the look and cleverly redirects attention. Similarly, bangs are often avoided because they're seen as high maintenance, but today's wispy or curtain bangs are light, feminine, and easy to style. Practical tips. Try shifting your part slightly off-center before committing to a deeper side part. Even a small change can lift your look. Wispy or curtain bangs are ideal. They add softness without heaviness. Avoid blunt, heavy bangs, which can look harsh on fine hair. Add a slight wave to the bangs so they blend seamlessly with the rest of your style. Use a lightweight styling spray to keep them in place without stiffness. Mini engagement. Have you been wearing your hair the same way for years out of habit? What if something as simple as changing your part or adding a fringe could refresh your entire look without changing your length or overall style? And here's the exciting part. While side parts and bangs redirect attention beautifully, the next technique changes the texture of your hair itself. By adding soft waves or curls, you can create instant fullness and natural movement, even if your hair is baby fine. If there's one styling technique that can instantly add life to thinning hair, it's waves and curls. They are nature's volume builders, creating texture and bounce where straight hair often falls flat. Unlike a new haircut, which requires commitment, curls and waves can be added or softened whenever you like, making them one of the most versatile solutions for fine hair. Evelyn, at 63, had always straightened her hair. To her, sleek and straight looked younger and neater. But with time, the style started working against her. Her fine strands clung close to her scalp, exposing thinning areas and making her hair look even flatter. Then, one afternoon, her granddaughter styled her hair with a large barrel curling iron, just for fun. The result was astonishing. Evelyn's hair looked twice as thick, her face appeared softer, and her whole look radiated energy. She didn't feel overdone, just more alive, more vibrant. From that day on, she embraced soft waves as her secret weapon. Oh, myth-busting. Many women avoid curls because they remember the stiff, crunchy perms of the past. They worry waves will look old-fashioned or require too much effort. But modern waves are the opposite. They're soft, effortless, and chic. Loose, undone curls actually look younger than poker straight hair because they create natural movement and softness around the face. And the beauty is, they don't need to be perfect. The less precise, the fresher the effect. Practical tips. Use a large barrel curling iron or hot rollers to create soft, loose waves. For a heat-free option, braid damp hair before bed and unravel in the morning for easy texture. Focus the curl on mid-lengths and ends, leaving the roots straighter for a modern, effortless look. Finish with a lightweight texturizing spray for hold and movement without stiffness. Avoid heavy gels or strong hold sprays which can weigh hair down or make it crunchy. Mini engagement. Do you still straighten your hair every day because it feels safe? What if adding just a few soft waves could make your hair look fuller, your face brighter, and your whole look more youthful, without adding hours to your routine? And here's the best part. While curls and waves transform texture, the final secret lies in how you style and color your hair. With the right blow-dry techniques, volumizing products, and strategic highlights, you can elevate any cut or curl into its most flattering version yet. The right haircut gives your hair shape, texture adds movement. But the true magic, the finishing touch that makes thinning hair look its absolute best, comes from how you style and color it. Think of this as the polish that brings everything together. Patricia, at 68, had embraced a chic, layered bob. She loved the cut, but on some mornings her hair still fell flat. It looked great when I left the salon, she admitted, but at home, it just didn't have the same lift. Her stylist showed her two simple tricks. First, applying a lightweight volumizing mousse at the roots before blow drying, and second, flipping her head upside down while drying to encourage natural lift. The results were immediate. Her bob looked thicker, bouncier, and held its shape all day. Patricia realized she didn't need complicated routines, just a few smart tweaks. Myth-busting. Many women shy away from styling products because they remember the stiff hairsprays of the past. They fear crunch, residue, or heaviness. But modern formulas are designed to be feather light. Mousse, dry shampoo, and texturizing sprays don't weigh hair down. Instead, they add body, movement, and hold, perfect for fine strands. Color, too, is a game changer. A single-tone dye job can actually make fine hair look thinner because there's no dimension. Multi-tonal color, like highlights, lowlights, or balayage, creates depth and the illusion of thickness. Strategically placed lighter pieces around the face can brighten your features and draw attention away from thinning areas, while darker lowlights underneath add contrast that makes hair look fuller. Practical tips for styling. Mousse magic. Apply a golf ball-sized amount to damp roots for lift. Dry shampoo. Not just for oily days, it adds instant texture and grip. Round brush. Use at the crown while blow drying to create bounce. Upside down blow dry. Flip your hair while drying to maximize root lift. Avoid heavy oils, serums. They flatten fine hair and make it look thinner. Practical tips for color. Opt for soft highlights, 2 shades lighter than your base to add brightness. Blend in lowlights for contrast and depth. Try face-framing highlights to soften features and redirect focus. Avoid overly dark, flat colors. They emphasize thinness and can look harsh. Mini engagement. Are you still styling and coloring your hair the same way you did 20 years ago? What if the secret to looking fresher, fuller, and more radiant wasn't a brand new cut, but just a smarter way of finishing the look you already have? And that's the beauty of it all. Cuts, textures, parts, and styling tricks aren't about hiding thinning hair. They're about celebrating what you have, framing your best features, and showing the world that elegance evolves with time. So here's the truth. Thinning hair is not the end of beauty. It's the beginning of a new kind of elegance. Every stage of life offers its own style, its own grace, and your hair can reflect that. Whether you choose soft layers that breathe life into fine strands, a chic bob that adds structure, a bold pixie that reveals your cheekbones, or waves and color that create instant fullness, the goal isn't to fight against age. The goal is to step into it with confidence. What I've learned from women like Linda, Carol, Susan, Maria, Janet, and Evelyn is this. Transformation doesn't always require something radical. Sometimes it's a gentle shift, a few layers, a new part, a touch of wave, or a few highlights that makes all the difference. These women didn't just find new hairstyles. They found a renewed sense of self, and that's what hair should do. Remind you of your vitality, your elegance, and your unique story. Remember, your hair doesn't have to be thick to be beautiful. It simply has to be styled in a way that brings out the best in you. And when you see yourself in the mirror and love the reflection, others will see it too. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Of all these hairstyles, which one speaks to you the most? Which would you try first? Share it in the comments. I truly want to know. And if you have a friend who's been struggling with thinning hair, send this guide her way. Sometimes one small suggestion can shift an entire outlook. And don't miss what's coming next. In our upcoming guide, we'll explore the best hair colors for women over 55. Shades that brighten your complexion, soften your features, and instantly make you look more radiant. Because at every age, beauty is not about hiding, it's about shining.